we move on to react to Real Madrid. They were able to get on the right side of the line over Stuttgart in their opening game of the Champions League campaign as defending champions. They took on a Stuttgart team that did really well for themselves to get into the top four, to get into the Champions League this season. And I have to say, you analyze the performance for Stuttgart relatively to the expectations as well. I thought Stuttgart played a really, really good game. I thought they were able to control possession at certain moments. They created some good opportunities. They had good runs of sustained pressure that they applied on Real Madrid. I thought Real Madrid also, they played a decent game. They played a sort of Real Madrid game that we expect from them under Carlo Ancelotti. We know what they are. They're not a team that'll go in, and maybe we're expecting a little bit this season now with the additions that they've made with Mbappe coming in, but this is not a team like Manchester City that'll go in and just completely dominate and suffocate a team. This is a team that'll be measured in their approach. They'll be defensively solid and sort of work their way up from there. And don't get me wrong, they do have the ability to control games, but it's not to the extent that a team like Manchester City, well, it's just not how Real Madrid go about it. And look, if you watch the game duration, once Real Madrid were able to get that lead early in the second half through Mbappe, who scored his first goal for Real Madrid in the Champions League. And by the way, that goal epitomizes Real Madrid, their ability to play in transition. Sloppy defensive moment from Stuttgart's left back. His name is escaping my mind. Mittelstadt. Sloppy defending from Mittelstadt there. Because the ball played in initially from Jude Bellingham. We know Stuttgart, they're attack minded and they're gonna be willing to play, and that made the game much more appealing as well. And the fact that they were willing to go out Real Madrid, that they were willing they're playing a back line. Their back line is at the halfway line, and they're willing to press and they're willing to go for it, and it made it a really good game. And look, if you're going to play a high line and you're playing at the Bernabeu, you're playing a high line and you're going to go for it, well, then your defenders, they're going to have to be very, very solid. And in my opinion, it was a poor mistake by Mittelstadt on the ball played in from Bellingham. The ball played in from Bellingham doesn't have, shouldn't be to Mittelstadt. I think Mittelstadt is in a good position defensively, doesn't make a good play on the ball, takes a bad angle. And when you take a bad angle and you have players like Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinicius that they're defending, well, you're gonna pay the price. Rodrigo was able to get in behind, and then he was able to get in behind. He's able to play a ball to Mbappe, and it's a tap in, and just like that, it's 1-0 Real Madrid. And it just epitomizes Real Madrid. They're defensively very, very solid. And one moment of sloppiness, they will pounce. Mbappe pounced, and it was 1-0 to Real Madrid. And I do have to say, afterwards, Real Madrid did have another opportunity that they could have doubled the lead, Kylian Mbappe. And the next, few minutes or so, Real Madrid were able to create a few opportunities. Vinicius Jr. also hit the post to double the lead. But then Stuttgart started gaining confidence. They started getting numbers forward. And they really, Thibaut Courtois had to make a really good save with Stuttgart when they had an opportunity on a 2-on-1. And then Stuttgart had and then he had to make another good save from Lowling, who was able to get a strike off. And then eventually Stuttgart was able to get the equalizer. It came from a set piece opportunity. They took advantage of it. The ball gets onto one of the Stuttgart player on the back post, who plays it back in, and then Dennis Undev, who's their striker, their star striker. He's able to get on the end of that cross. It's 1-1. And I thought Stuttgart, they did really well in that, that 10 minutes or so. They applied pressure and they played really well. I thought Stuttgart played a really good game. They were willing to go at it. And I love that when teams are willing to go at it and they don't fear Real Madrid. And they didn't fear Real Madrid. We know what Stuttgart are, or what they're made of, what their DNA is under Sebastian Oeneb, who in my opinion is a really, really good manager and a manager that will be making the move to a top club soon. And we know what they're about, and they're not going to change their ways, going into the Bernabeu. But eventually, just the quality for Real Madrid was able to see them through. Real Madrid were able to take advantage of a set-piece opportunity on their own. Modric plays it in, and Rudiger gets it to go for 2-1. It's another ball played into the six-yard area, and the Stuttgart goalkeeper just couldn't get to it with the traffic in there. It's a really hard play to defend. Alexander Nobel just couldn't quite get there. That is I have sympathy for the goalkeepers because they put in there's a lot of players in that 6-yard box. It's very congested. It's very hard, but sometimes when you're in a goalkeeper in that situation and the ball gets played in a 6-yard area, you just have to have that sort of mentality. You're gonna go through anyone, and if you have to go through your own player to get that ball, you're gonna go through him. You sort of have to have that killer mentality, sort of having when you are trying to have a sort of command of your 6-yard area. You have to have a commanding presence of yourself, and you have to have that mentality. I'm getting to that ball and I'm going through anyone, whether it's my teammates or a Madrid player, which it's not the best because you don't want to get a penalty in that area. But if you have to be measured about it as well. But Rudiger is able to get the goal. It's 2-1 for Real Madrid. They take advantage of individual moments as they always do. Bernabeu's atmosphere was great. They closed it, and it was a good goal. And they played a good game, Real Madrid. They played a Real Madrid game, and then late on, they're able to bring on Endrick, and they were able. Actually, Vinicius had an opportunity 1-on-1. He couldn't get it to go. He couldn't get it past Nobel, but it was Endrick. It was actually an initial opportunity from Stuttgart on a set piece. Endrick gets on the end of it, and with the quality and pace that Endrick has, he goes in, and Endrick, it was a little bit of a selfish moment in my opinion, in the fact that there was way better balls to play in. He had Mbappe that he, in my opinion, there was a space between the two Stuttgart defenders. If you have that real quality and that real eye, you can play in Mbappe there. He also had Vinicius coming the other side of him. He decides to cut to take it on with his left foot from, in my opinion, when you're in a transition moment like that, that's a really bad shot to take because there's much better opportunity that you can get. He decides to try to go for it on his own. He wants to get that opening goal for Real Madrid in the Champions League. And yeah, it was a strike. It was a strike. The pace that he hit it with, to be able to beat Noble from there, you need to have it. You need to hit it with really good pace. You need to be accurate as well. But the problem was, in my opinion, Noble has to do better, despite the ball being hit with real pace. It wasn't really in the corner. Noble was able to get a hand on it. I think he has to do a little bit better there. But again, this 3-1 Real Madrid, Endrick gets off the mark, and a really good goal for him to get his Champions League career going at Real Madrid. He's he's a fascinating player, a player that we're all looking forward to see what his development is like. And it's a good moment for him. I believe now this is his second goal for Real Madrid. So great moment for Endrick. And overall, Real Madrid, they played a really, really good game. Very excited. I was very happy with the quality that we saw from the game. And it's a good way for Real Madrid to start their title defense. Real Madrid now, let's pull it up, Espanyol to play with on Saturday, which is not the strongest of opposition, so allowed Real Madrid to go with a full strength team to get off to a great start. Stuttgart, they move on this weekend to take on Borussia Dortmund. We know Dortmund are looking pretty strong so far to start off the season. This is the Stuttgart team that hasn't had the greatest starts, with 4 points in 3 games, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they're able, with the players that they have, how they can manage playing in the Champions League as well as, trying to get back into the top four in the Bundesliga. For me, it's going to be very interesting to see that. And I'm looking forward to see more of them. I love the way that they play. I love the way that they play against Sebastian Reineb. And the way that they went into Bernabeu and wasn't afraid to play their game. They move on in the Champions League campaign. They play Sparta Praha in their next game. Then they take on Juventus, Atlanta, Crvena Zvezda, Young Boys, and then Slovan Bratislava. And then they close out the Champions League campaign with PSG. Not the most difficult campaign for them. So let's see if they're able to at least find themselves in a playoff position, because that's the goal for Stuttgart in this Champions League. As far as Real Madrid, we know the goals with them. We know the dominance with them. Good start from them. You don't want to slip up early, because you want to find yourself in a position that you're in the top 8, so you don't have to play a meaningless playoff, not meaningless, but an unnecessary 2 extra games in January. You just want to find yourself straight into the round of 16. So really good start for them.